Welcome back to this week's episode. I've been gone because I was moving. I moved my family in, and I've also have been taking a little bit of time to really put thought into today's episode, which is Inside the Mind of Celeste the Stylist. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking how I navigated past depression, what that did to me as a mother, as a business owner, how my business grew although I was dealing with depression, although I was dealing with other things in life, and how it can help you when life happens. Because sometimes life happens. As always, before I begin this episode, I am not a medical professional. Please, if you need help, there is a hotline. You can dial 988 from your phone, and then you'll be in contact with somebody. I am so grateful for my therapist that helped me throughout this whole period of time. It's been a year and a half, okay? And it's been past that time. Now I'm in a point where I'm really healthy and I feel I will never be the same. I will never be the person who I was, but I can navigate life now. I'm past the whole depression part of it and just navigating this new thing that I call life and this new business that has grown from the unknowns and uncertainty of things and how this impacted me. So today's episode, I'm not going to be really sharing nitty gritty what happened. I am going to just share a little bit of like maybe 60 seconds of what happened and how I went from there, sharing with you the business tips that I can share of how I navigated, how I was able to grow my business, although I was dealing with depression, really bad anxiety, and dealing with legalities of other things. And I've never have shared this stuff on social. It's been over a year and a half now past that point. Our case finally closed, and I've had to come to terms of give myself grace, and I ask you to give yourself grace that none of us are perfect. Bad things happen to good people, and our system is so broken, but there is a glimpse of hope. And also, I hope that this message resonates with at least one of you, because it was an episode that I really felt I had to share. A little glimpse will be shared on Instagram, because I think it's so important that people know and my audience knows that I have been dealing with depression and really bad anxiety this past year and a half from a crime, the horrible, hideous crime. I'm not going to go into detail that was done upon one of my children and has impacted me as a mother, us as a family. It really turned my fucking world upside down. And it really got me into thinking, what is life and what is business? And on the other side, flip side, now looking back a year and a half, past that time, is that my business has grown. I have gone to do wedding expos and doing more weddings and doing more events and doing more hairstyling type of services. And in this episode, I want to share with you, if you are experiencing something really hard in your life, that number one, you're not alone. And number two, the importance of giving ourselves grace beyond business. Okay. So first, let's start with this episode talking about our self-worth and work. You are so much more than what you do. I know you're probably a super talented beauty professional, beauty service provider. Your clients love you, but it's so important that we detach our worth from accolades or from anything else, because you are so much more than your work. And myself detaching from work took a lot, okay? Because my growing up, I had my amazing, person who brought me up, which was my dad, my father, called him grandpa, my adoptive parent. But then there was this other person, adult in my life, that always told me that I would amount to nothing and I would be nothing. So I tied a lot of my success to work. And I know that's not only my story. I know I've heard, and I imagine there's at least one of you here that has had that kind of thing where you attach your worth, because work is what brings you money, brings you stability. People see you different. You start having titles, right? And you start feeling like, according to the world and society, quote unquote, you're being quote unquote successful, and you're showing what wealth means, right? Through that. And in 2020, I think it was when it really rocked me that I was so much more than that. Not just the shutdowns, because in California was fucking horrible. We had the worst shutdowns ever. It was a sad time. I saw so many other, I'm not naming names, I'm just saying that this is what I saw. I saw so many other beauty professionals telling on salons that were open when they were supposed to, which I always say, why do I care and why should people care? we don't know if somebody else is a single mother and that's the only way she can provide for her children. And clients were going to their beauty professional services homes and salons to get services done. Okay, it was a thing that was happening. And I always say we're all like in this supposable society where we get to choose right and wrong for ourselves, and nothing is just gray area. Like for some people I know, like hair or their beauty is really a part of their self-esteem as well. So who are we to judge, right? It was just a really hard time, and it really got me to thinking, being so much at home and all the stuff I went through, my daughter's incident, losing my hand function to COVID, being shut down, getting the hate over the remodel for my business, and all this stuff that started happening, and publications that were beautiful. It taught me really the importance of detaching yourself from worth, because life can change in a second. If tomorrow you could no longer work where you work, or you could no longer provide the service that you provide today, will you still feel the same successful person that you feel at this moment, is my question for you. And it's not to judge you. It's just a real good question to ask ourselves, to journal on. Like, how much is your worth as a human, your worth as a person, really tied to your work? Because so much of our time gets spent outside of home and work, right? And I always think about that. I'm like, man, like people spend more time at work than they do at home or with their own children. And then one day we're all gonna, like, not being morbid, just being honest, like we're not gonna be in this earth, right? Like and we're here, and life is so precious, and our body is so fragile. As strong as we are, we're also so fragile, right? Where like sickness or things can happen, and we can get sick. So I think really for me, 2020 really taught me that I could not attach myself to worth or accolades, and my content started to change, okay? And from there, I did the remodel, everything was going great. And then this horrible crime happened in March of 2022, and I will never be the same. This is the part where like I'm only going to give a minute of what kind of like just a glimpse, and I'm not going to go into details, but it happened on my husband's and I anniversary. We'll never be the same. I moved out of the place where I was living at. Within 4 days, I was out of there. We have invested a lot of money in there for a remodel. I was broken. I wasn't eating. I was very depressed, and I was dealing with a lot of legal stuff, with attorneys and lots of different things, okay? And I've been going to court, and I've been fighting for justice for this crime. And I've learned, being from the victim's family side, that the laws are set out to protect criminals, and they are not out there. The laws are not set to give justice to victims or give justice to families of victims. And our system is so broken. I have spent thousands of dollars out of my own pocket to get therapy to be able to function. So it tore my world upside down, because as a mother, I really started thinking, like, was it because, why did this happen to me? Why is all this shit happening to me? And it can happen to you in regards to life. We never think bad things are going to happen to us. We, even as mothers or as business owners, right? That's not going to happen to me. That is why I have all my permits and T's and dots crossed in my business, is because sadly for me, I've had the other situation where people are not very happy for my success or very happy for the type of business I have, and have tried and have called, state board on me. For no really valid reason, just for out of hate and out of and I don't want to give that energy. I'm just wanted to share that this crime really affected me, okay? And I haven't shared it online. I haven't shared it on social. So how do you thrive in your business? How do you grow your business and continue to show up on your podcast, show up online, continue to get publications, continue to grow your business, and do beautiful events? Like, I do a lot of bridal and special events, so it's not about me. And honestly, that is what saved me. Being in service of others in such an important day, being in service of others through my clients, whether it's their hair, which means a lot to them, that is what saved me and has me here today. Along with the side of therapy. So thank God for therapists. I'm so grateful that I invested all that money and time and continue to get support from my therapist to grow so I could continue showing up for my business. So if you need additional support, please, you can call from your phone or even text 988. That is the national hotline for support if you're going through a really hard time, and you need to talk to somebody. But now let's talk about, so having said that, let's talk now about what happens and the importance. The 5 things I want to talk about today in this episode is, number 1, give yourself grace. And when I mean give yourself grace is accept yourself and love yourself, that you have changed and evolved. You are no longer who you were. Even when I see my content, I show up differently. In 2021, I decided I was no longer just going to do my hair and makeup and show up like everybody fucking else on the internet or Instagram. No offense to nobody. I just got tired of having other educators tell me I was going to not be successful because I didn't have my hair and makeup done all the time like everybody else. And I think that's bullshit, okay? I have frizzy, curly hair, have 2 different type of curl patterns in my hair. And I just got tired of being defined as beautiful by being in a certain size. And I got tired because it's been happening for me. I come from the 90s and early 2000s where beauty was defined by the size and your hair type and how it was done and how you looked. And it's certain things. And it was so superficial. So in 2021, I decided to break that. So in regards to grace, when you're going through something hard and how to thrive in your business, you need to give yourself grace that you're going to be different. I'm still fun. I think I still am who I am, but I've changed. I'm a little more sad sometimes, a little more serious. I for sure worry more. That's a natural thing of mine. And I don't take life for granted anymore. And with that means that I don't give so much of a care of, I'm trying to fit the trends, if that makes sense. I care about my clients. I care about being of service. I care about helping others, but I have no care in the world to be trendy. With the whole, giving yourself grace, it's with the whole Barbie thing. I have loved Barbie. That woman taught me that I could be anything. Growing up in a system when I was young, I was living with my mom and dad at that time. My dad was not the best person. Barbie taught me I could be anything. And I know I am who I am today a lot because of Barbie as my role model, whether people like that or not. So that's why I was all game for Barbie, right? I wasn't trying to fit a trend. It's literally something that's very important to me. So with that, give yourself grace that you're going to evolve and change. The grace to get therapy. I got therapy. The grace that's, if you need to take medication or not take medication, I'm not here to judge you, tell you what to do, but give yourself grace that you need to do what you need to do. Because I have gone through so much, sometimes I do not like taking medication. I really don't. But I had to take 2 times. I had to take medication because of everything that I've gone through. And I had to have it because I was so out of it. For my dental work, because they couldn't numb me. I was so stressed out and so anxious and going through so much stuff. They couldn't numb me to do my dental work. So for health reasons, I had to choose to, go take a Xanax. And it wasn't the funnest thing. I don't like the side effects of it. I have really bad, symptoms afterwards. So that's why I don't like taking it. But I had to. So I took it twice. And then after that, now I've learned how to cope with it. And I'm doing better. So I don't need to be on it. But that's the part where we give ourselves grace, right? We're not judging ourselves because we're doing something we normally don't do. I wasn't judging myself because I was talking to my therapist every week. I wasn't judging myself because I wasn't posting all the time, right? So with this whole grace part, let's put it into social media, okay? Because we're going to go over 5 steps that helps me, that I hope one of these helps you and resonates with you. So with the grace part is that give yourself grace that maybe you're not going to post all the time like you used to. Maybe you're not going to be doing live videos. I used to love to do live videos. Right now, I'm getting into the season where I'm going to start doing live videos, but I wanted to release this podcast and also put a portion of it on Instagram because I wanted to tell you, my audience and my people, why it was really important to me before I come and show up live again. Why did I stop doing this? And it was literally because I've been battling legally in court, and that took a lot of energy. I've been battling with depression from the crime that happened. And it's been over 1.5 years now. I'm in a good spot. But in social media, I had to give myself the grace. And I want to invite you, if you're going through something hard, give yourself the grace that you're not going to be able to show up like you used to. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so I did less lives, so I did less posts, but you know what? I learned to do more meaningful posts. I learned if I went live to do something fun or something that resonated with me at that time and not judge myself because it was different from the content that I was showing all the time. And I also gave myself grace that, and I want to invite you that you are not fake for showing up online and not sharing your whole life and your hardships in your life that you're dealing with. You are not fake for getting the help through therapy, and that gives you the courage to show up online and not share your vulnerable parts of life or the hardship you're going through. Maybe you're going through legal battles like I was. Maybe you're going through like depression like I was. Maybe you're trying to heal from a crime that happened, from things that happened, from life that happened, from the loss of somebody that you love. You are not fake because you're giving yourself the grace that social is going to be just a part for your business. And you, the human, need to heal. Give yourself the grace to not share part of the story, or if you want to share all of it. For me, I'm not going to share all of it. I'm going to share like a little glimpse or part of it because it changed me. And I am not who I was before. And I'm okay with that. But I really wanted to share this part of the episode and this episode to really help all of you out there that are dealing with hardships, how I navigated my business, how I showed up online through all of it. So give yourself the grace that if you need to get help, if you need to work less because you have other things that you have to do, you can be successful, you can grow your business, and you can show up online, and you're not being fake, doing so in a way that's healthy for you with boundaries, okay? So the first step was grace. So second step is, let's talk about social media, okay? So we are in social media. We need to show up online. So what are we going to do? What are we going to say? When it's something that is so hard, you're going through something so difficult. So I'm just going to share a little bit, okay, of the glimpse of what happened in regards to social media. So I reached out to somebody. I wanted them to take it over for emergency-wise. I'm like, I need to focus on myself right now because I'm not even eating. So I need somebody to come help me. I found somebody, but the rate was really high. If it would have happened in a regular time when my head was on straight, no problem. But the rate was really high. I didn't know what they were going to do for me. What I asked for them was super minimal, and I felt like it was too much, and I didn't even know if they were going to do well with my content. And I wasn't even thinking on straight, so I decided not to go that route, okay? So I had to continue showing up. So what I did was, for social media, during the hardest part of my transition, so this is part 2 of the episode, social media, post what you can. Don't judge yourself because you're not posting the same like you used to. Post what you can. Maybe it's reposting a video or a post that did really well and put a spin on it. Maybe it's copying and pasting and putting the same freaking video or picture or carousel that you did, a month and a half, 2 months ago. It doesn't matter. You just need to continue showing up in a way that's true to you. Maybe now you're making little reels of you going to the store, buying products for your business. Like, just show up the best you can. And I just say once a week. That's what I did at the beginning. I was going through a really hard time. I'm like, okay, I'm showing up once a week. I was responding to my clients. I was responding to the emails. But I had to really take it slow and not judge myself that I wasn't putting myself out there. Now, I want to say with social media, once a week is not enough, but it's better than doing nothing at all. So this is the part where we need to give ourselves that grace, right, that we talked about earlier. So with social media, and then afterwards, I started feeling better. I started going through my healing, and I would post more. And on days, to be honest, on days that I would go to take care of legal matters, I would feel like crap. And sometimes I had to go do an event the next day, or I had to go work the next day. And I would still go, but I would detach myself. And that's what I mean with social media. It's just a glimpse. People don't know what's going on. You can still be successful. I have done so many events and so many clients that I've never posted on social. And I don't judge myself. I don't need social media to share that I'm being busy by showing clients. That's BS. I cannot service 100,000 people, even if I wanted to, in a year. So I don't judge myself if I don't have 100,000 likes in a video, if I don't have 10,000 followers, if I don't, like none of those metrics really matter. They're just like really, they do make you feel good. And yes, it's true. When you work with a brand, they'll pay you more because you have more followers. But what are you in business for? Are you in business to be profitable or to be popular? Because if you're into be popular, I would say to each their own, but for me, it's to be profitable. I know businesses, including my husband's, who makes really good amount of money that have under 200 followers. Okay. So I do not judge following. I do not care about that. So it's just a really thing to really think about social media. Is it helping your business truly grow? Again, I'm going to tap into this. I've said it this time and again. Do not copy my content. I keep telling people that and people don't listen. But the past year and a half, Celeste was not trying to grow. Celeste was trying to survive and thrive through a really hard time. So people copying my content probably is not a good idea because I wasn't showing up like I should have if I was trying to grow a business, right? So that's why I always say, be mindful, what feels good to you, and is it actually working? Trust me, I would not be showing up on social if it wasn't working. And there's only one business that really thrives on social, and the other one does not. The other one relies on other things, and it has nothing to do with social media. So, having said that, please remember, social media is just a glimpse of somebody's life, a glimpse of somebody's business. If I wanted to, I could post every single day a different client, different thing, and you would think I'm booked out 365 days a week. That's a lot of energy. That is not true. I do not work full-time. I am a part-time hairstylist, and I love it. I love to be able to be at home. I love to be able to live my life beyond business. So remember, social media, just show up as you can. Don't judge yourself if you're going through a really hard time in your life and you can't share it, or you don't want to. You feel too vulnerable. Don't share your wounds. Share really healed scars. Okay. I really love that because when you have a wound, it's open. I just went to get my teeth done. So I got 3 fillings done. And I was like, dang, that hurts, right? And now the medication's coming off, the anesthesia's coming off. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I feel a little numb, because I remember he was tugging on my tooth, right? And it's the same thing, right? When we're going through something so hard, we are so vulnerable, and people always give in their 2 cents, and some people can be very nice about it. Some people can be very hurtful about it. And when we're vulnerable, why put ourselves in that stage? Why put ourselves in that space? So really protect yourself with that in social media, and you're not fake for not sharing everything, okay? I'm living testament of it. Number 3, it's okay to say no. And I am so grateful for this hard time because it has taught me, man, we need to say more no in life than yes. Your energy, who you are, your business, deserves the attention and the monetary gain that it does to be able to survive and thrive in this business, and in this life. Let's be real. It is a capitalist society, and we need money to be able to go buy groceries. Okay, I can't just go to the Safeway and be like, hey, I'll sweep your floors. Can you give me some groceries? That's not gonna work. Okay, I need to be able to give them money in exchange for the products that I want to buy. It's the same with a color store, right? So the reality is that we do need to be profitable. So when you're going through hardship, right, you're giving yourself grace. Social media is not all of it. Remember to say more no's, okay? I've learned to say no so much more easier now. And I don't feel guilty about it, okay? Your time is valuable. And also always remember, what energy space are you in? If I am in a horrible, bad energy space, and I'm going to go even just do a hairstyle for somebody or spend time with somebody, they can feel that energy. Just like when you see somebody cry and you can feel their sadness, or you see somebody cry and you can feel their anger, the same thing happens. So if you're not in a good space and you are not ready for that, say more no's. Give more no's out. You're going to be okay. I did not expect to get more publishings. I did not expect to have my business grow. I did not expect to get more opportunities during this really hard, difficult time for me behind the scenes, okay? Like, I'm being very vocal about it today in this episode because in order for me to show up and be me and do my lives and continue to give my content the way I want to, I need to put this part behind me and I need to be honest and open about it because I've been hiding it for so long because I needed to heal, okay? So being able to say no is so important that you know that when you say more no's, you'll know what you need to say yes to. I said yes to opportunities to work with others that were in alignment with me, that felt good. I said yes to clients that were beautiful. We just aligned. I'm like, yes, I want to do this for you. I said yes in my moment of sadness and anxiety because I had passed through the depression part of it. In my sadness and anxiety, I said yes to beautiful moments because it brought joy to me. It brought joy to be able to not focus on me, not worry about me, but focus about giving my 110% self into a service that was for somebody else. And that was beautiful. And that's what I want to share with you today is that during your time of heartache and hardship in your life, you get to say no to the things that are no longer in alignment and say yes to more of the things that really bring joy and happiness to you. My other business has really been growing a lot. Like this year, we're about to, if we'll see how the year ends, but I'm about to double what I did last year in my business on my hairstyling one, Sonoma Lounge. And it's a beautiful thing. And I don't do it alone. You know, I bring other girls to come help me and they're amazing. But that was not part of the plan. I was just literally following that intuition of saying more no's and only saying yes to what was in alignment. I was saying more no's to like 7-hour highlighting services. My hand is not the same. So I've decided I'm not going to do highlights. But moving past that no really helped me grow. So be intuitive, right? Like, so we've talked about grace. We've talked about social media. We've talked about saying no. Number 4 is be intuitive, okay? And I want to talk about intuition. If you don't believe in intuition, maybe you believe in energy or you believe in God, whatever good, beautiful thing you believe in about this world, your own beliefs. Trust yourself. Trust your gut feeling or trust the butterfly or whatever like you call it, your signs, whatever you believe in. For me, it's called trusting my intuition, which is that feeling that of a yes, of a heck yes, I want to do this, or a no, I do not. I don't care how much I get paid. It's not going to happen. During this time, I had to really trust my intuition, and it was less about doing color and more about doing hairstyling. It was, for me, hairstyling is very creative, and I love doing things with my hands. I love decorating. So that was very in alignment with me. So I did that. I wanted to see what is this whole like wedding expo about. That was very good for me too. It was really good to get out there, get my business out there, but also like just for myself. I did that more intuitively. I didn't know if it was going to work for my business or not. I literally just did that last month. So I'll let you know next year how that worked out because I don't, we're still in the process. So it's intuition of knowing what's next. I've been doing other things just for fun. That's intuitive, that I'm not planning on selling or showing anybody. It's just for me, for my own fun and sanity. It's intuitive calls. Intuitive calls that my content needs to change. Intuitive calls that my podcast needed this episode. Follow your intuition into what is next and don't judge yourself for it. So I'm going to be very open and transparent. During the hardest part of my depression and anxiety after the crime, I decided that it was hard to be on social, and that's the truth. It's hard to be a person, even if it just barely in the public eye. It's really hard to do that when you're going through something really fucking hard and deep. So I'm like, maybe I don't want to do social media anymore. Maybe I don't want to do none of this because I hate being like, I feel fake. I feel fake showing up online when I really know I'm really sad and anxious over this thing that has happened. So during that time, I started looking for jobs, and Celeste learned that she is very highly employable. So I learned I could make pretty good money, not as much as I do in my beauty business, but I could make pretty well amount of money per year working a 9-to-5 job. I will lose my freedom of time, but I would work a 9 to 5. I would have really good benefits, and I'm very highly employable. I can make over $30 an hour working on an office job, and that was a really good lesson for me. I'm like, cool. Like, if I really needed to, I wanted to do that. Going through the process, going through the interviews, I quickly realized that was not what I fucking wanted to do. That was a big no-no. But did I judge myself? No, I did not. I went ahead and I followed my intuitive gut feeling that I needed to apply for jobs. And it really taught me that that is not for me. It really taught me that that's not something that I want to do, nor do I care to do. And I really like my life where I'm at right now and the period and what I'm doing in my life and in my business. And that feels good. And I really don't care what anybody thinks. I put up a post. I'm a part-time hairstylist. I love it. I get to be with my kids. I get to pick them up. I don't have to worry about them. I just feel so free. I feel so much more in control of my life. I get to enjoy a cup of coffee every morning. I just finished fixing my upstairs because I have a bigger home now. Cleaning upstairs, and I'm about to have a cup of coffee before I go pick up my kids. And it's just so beautiful to get in control of your own life because you decide to follow your intuition. I would not know that I really, truly do want to continue doing this if I hadn't taken that leap of faith, that intuitive knowing or that gut feeling or that sign that Celeste, you need to go apply for jobs. I wouldn't know that, hey, that's not for me. I really want to do this. I really love what I do. During that time when our life is being like rocked, when your personal life is being rocked and your business, you're like, oh my God, I don't even know if I want to do this. Be intuitive. Take the leap. Take the chance to fail. Take the chance to try something that you feel you have to. And that's why I wanted to share that part of my business and that part of my journey through healing was that Celeste went to apply for other jobs because I didn't know if I wanted to continue doing this because the social media part of it, which I've already shared with you, that we give ourselves grace so that we continue showing up in a way that's healthy and not overwhelming for you. So lastly, I want to talk about growth in enjoying the simplicity of your new life, okay? And I know it sounds like a long title, but this is the last part of today's episode of sharing how I thrived my business. I almost doubled one. The other one, of course, went down because I haven't been doing as much color anymore because I've been focusing on more of the creative, fun part of it. How can you experience growth in the simplicity of your new life? When we go through traumatic experiences, and I swear to God, out of everything I've gone in my life, I will never be the same. I will never be the same as a mother. I will never be the same as a woman. I will never be the same as a human. Never. A part of me died that day. And I know it sounds really like dark, but it's true. Like a part of me died that day, and I've given myself the grace that I can't be that Celeste anymore, but this new person can also help more people because she is stronger. And she's also more soft in the sense that we need to be more kind to others. And we need to start really, truly defining what growth means to you. Not to the top social media influencer on Instagram, not to the top coach in the beauty industry, to you, the person, not to what I say, to you, the business owner, to you, the person. What does growth really mean? Being in so many different groups and throughout the years of education, I've seen this reoccurring theme of more money, more time, more money, more time. People think when they have more money, they're going to have more time. But there is this cycle that you go through when you make more money, okay? When you make more money, yes, you could have more time, right? Because you have more money. But if you are not living below your means, if you're living your life paycheck to paycheck, and I'm not here to judge, I'm just giving you a little bit of an analogy and a little bit of an example to really think about this, because I want you to define what growth in enjoying the simplicity of your new life is going to mean for you after a hardship in your life. If you made more money today, okay, are you going to go spend it, or are you going to live below your means or pay off debt and live a really comfortable life, maybe work less because you're making more? Or are you going to spend that money? And I'm not here to judge you. I'm just asking. Are you going to spend the money, maybe go buy a new car, maybe go buy something else, maybe go buy new clothes or whatever, or, do a whole upgrade in a salon, whatever it is, and end up having to work harder now because you have other additional bills to pay, although you're making more money? So when is your growth going to be enough? To you, not to the world, to you. I love it. There's somebody that I love very much in my life who always tells me, she used to tell this to me a lot, but she stopped. Because one day I got mad and I told her, why don't you have like a really nice SUV? Like, you make good money, you guys have good money. Why don't you have a nicer SUV? And finally one day I got like upset, and I'm like, why? Because I don't want debt. And the car does not define my wealth. The car does not define my success. The car does not define our family. I really don't care about the fucking car. Like, I just want a car that takes me to point A to point B, that is clean and that we can rely on. And it feels so good to not have a car payment. That's why I don't have a nicer SUV or nicer car. I always get also this feedback, and I'm just sharing. I'm being open with you today. I'm just being honest. I got a lot of feedback. Oh, I miss seeing you in your Lexus. I remember that white. So I have one white Lexus, but I had a newer white Lexus with like red interior. Really pretty. It was a sports car. I loved it. But we were all squishing it. We didn't fit in there. And during 2020, my lease was up, and I could either buy it or return it because the lease was up. And instead of buying it, we decided to return it because we wanted an SUV. So a couple months later, we ended up buying the SUV that I now own. And people always tell me, oh, yeah, I remember that Lexus. I loved it. I'm like, yeah, I loved it too, but nothing fit in there. And that's the truth. Like, nothing fit in there. So what's the true definition of growth and enjoying your new life and simplicity mean to you? So I want you to think about that. Like, for me, it was, I don't want to be in debt. I don't care. I don't have the nicest car. I don't care. I don't have a luxury vehicle. My husband's a beautiful example of that. He has an older vehicle to transport, all the heavy things that he needs to places. But then he also has a commuter one. And the commuter one happens to be my old Lexus that he uses to commute. But that's how it works for him. I mostly stay local. Unless I have to go do events, then I travel. But most of the time, I'm just in town. So I get to keep the newer SUV is the one that I use. But simplicity in my new life. I know that working full-time in a salon would not be for me. I would be an anxious hot mess. Because right now, I'm in a stage in my life where I want to be there for my kids. I want to be able to do certain things for them and for my family and for my home. And working full-time is not going to allow that. So part-time feels amazing. I know I'm not going to be young forever, and I'm okay with that. I'm getting older. I'm about to turn 38 in a couple of months. So I think also like that maturity starts to hit in, right? Like, dude, life, you don't live forever. So are you going to are you going to work just to pay bills? Are you just going to work your whole life away and then miss all the moments with your kids? Like, I was there. I'm not here to judge. I'm just sharing with you the wealth of knowledge that I got through this really hard ache and this really hard event that changed me for the rest of my life. And that is that it's the little stuff that matters. It's the simplicity of being able to enjoy a cup of coffee, the simplicity of picking up your kids from school or dropping them off in the morning to school. It's the simplicity of being able to bake cookies with your kids. The simplicity of being at home watching a movie together. The simplicity of going out on a walk and looking at how the leaves change, the simplicity of having money to live the life that you want to buy the things that you want to, but also to splurge when you want to, but also save when you don't want to, because you're not here to impress anybody. And I don't need to eat out every single day of the week, and I don't need to eat out, like X amount of times a week to feel successful. Like, there's other things. A home cooked meal also feels really good, and it's nice that my husband can do that for us. And it's just nice to be home. It's nice to have a place that we call home. The place that we ended up in, and it's just beautiful. I always believe that life has a greater plan for me than I do for myself. I don't believe things happen for a reason, but I believe that your life, there is a better plan that life sometimes has for you that you wouldn't be able to do unless certain things happen. And they're not all good. I don't believe that what happened was meant for us. I don't believe that was good. I will never understand it for the rest of my life. And I wanted to give you also that understanding and grace that you may be going through something hard and you may never come to terms with it, that you'll understand why it happened. But I do believe that out of the hardships and the hard things that happen, if we allow it, life has a better plan for us. And I believe that life has a better plan for me, and a better plan for me to also advocate for others, a better plan for me to help and be a service of others. But it's going to look different. My business looks different now, in ways I didn't expect. It has been beautiful to grow, but I haven't been doing it in a scarcity mindset. I know today's episode was longer, but I truly believe that when you're scared or you act out of scarcity, or I'm going to copy what she's doing, I'm going to do what she's doing, I'm going to do like she does, I'm going to do more posts because she's posting already, or she's running an ad, that is not the right energy. You're not going to attract abundance that way. When we slow down during the hard times in life, give ourselves the room to heal, give ourselves the room to just put ourselves back together. Because I don't believe I'll ever heal from this. I believe that I put myself together from this. And what I mean by that is like, I won't be the same. I'm not going to be at peace with this, but I'm accepting that I've tried my best to bring justice, and I've tried my best to come to peace and terms with this. And sharing this podcast, I hope that one person who's going through something really, really hard in your life, whether it's you listening to me today, that you know that you're not alone, and that it is a really hard process, especially when you are a person who loves to be on social. Social media was super fun for me for the longest time, and I really, truly enjoyed it. It wasn't out of, I have to. It was like actually a lot of fun. But now that I've changed, my needs and what I want to do has changed as well. So as I'm going into shift how I do my contact, like on Instagram, how I do my content on the podcast, how I do my content on my website, like everything's getting a revamp for me because I've changed as a person and as a business too, and what I want to do. So as I go into this season of newness, not knowing what will happen, I'm giving myself grace. I'm understanding social media is just a tool, and it's there to be worked when I can in my life. I know that saying no is a very important part of growth. I know that listening to your intuition is going to allow you to make realizations that you need in order to be able to evolve and move on. And lastly, that you can grow. My business has grown, but most importantly, you can grow in your own life and business, knowing that there's a new magic in your life and new happiness in your life that's based out of the simplicity of enjoying the simple things. That growth may not be the same type of growth the world sees. Your growth may not be the same like everybody thinks it is, or the world or society tells you it should be, but growth will be in peace and alignment with you. And remember that everybody's healing journey is different. My journey doesn't mean that's how everybody deals with this, but I just wanted to give you today just my reality of what I've gone through behind the scenes in silent, how hard it was to be silent about it, but also I just felt like somebody needed to hear this episode. I felt like also I needed to come to acceptance before I move forward with my life and before I move forward with my business, my content. I needed to put this podcast out there. So I hope this was super helpful. Thank you so much. A review on Spotify or review on Apple Podcasts helps me so much to help other listeners tune into this episode, tune into this podcast, and I appreciate you for following my journey since 2018. And if you're new, feel free to push that follow button, and I will see you back here next week. Bye, love.